Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're kind of bringing things full circle with Paramahansa Yogananda.
Yeah, focusing on his core message, really.
Exactly. You know, the author of Autobiography of a Yogi, that book that did so much to bridge Hindu spirituality and the West.
Absolutely. And W.I. Evans Wentz even mentioned Sri Yukteswar Giri in his own work, Tibetan Yoga and Sikh Doctrines,
Mhm.
and put his picture in there too. He wrote the preface for Yogananda's book, highlighting that deep spiritual heritage.
Right. But it's more than just stories of sages, isn't it? Yogananda's life, their lives, they offer a real path.
That's the goal, I think.
So our mission for this deep dive is basically to figure out how can we take his journey, his teachings, and actually live a yogic life, like practically.
Right now, in the midst of everything.
Yeah, in our work, our relationships, even just in those quiet moments we try to grab.
Finding those simple daily things.
Simple daily rituals, exactly, that help build, clarity, compassion, maybe find a bit more purpose.
And crucially, it's not about running away from the world.
No, not at all. It's about elevating it, right, through changing ourselves on the inside.
That inner transformation being the key. It's fascinating when you look at Yogananda's own start.
Oh, it really is.
He talks about these incredibly early memories, almost like, well, recollections of a past life.
As a yogi in the Himalayas, right?
It just immediately suggests this life wasn't like a standalone thing. It was part of something much bigger.
And his mother seems so central in those early years.
Oh, definitely. She taught him through love, using scriptures like the Mahabharata, the Ramayana.
Not just stories, but life lessons woven in.
Exactly. Discipline and instruction, but wrapped in this affection.
And even after she passed away, his father, Bhagavati Charan Ghosh, showed a different side, a tenderness.
Right. There's that story about the father's past poverty and him hesitating to give 10 rupees to a woman.
Contrasting with the mother's known compassion.
Yeah, those early family dynamics, different ways of seeing empathy, must have really shaped his understanding of, well, life and spirit.
For sure. And then there's this almost magnetic pull towards his guru, Lahiri Mahasaya.
Even before meeting him. Just the photograph.
He said it had a surpassing influence, right? That it would
Yeah.
seem to come alive during meditation.
From just a picture to a living, enlightening presence. It really speaks to that subtle guru-disciple connection.
It really does. It suggests the guru's influence isn't just about being physically present.
Not at all. If the student's heart is open, that guidance can come through in subtle ways, like through a photo. It's beyond the material.
It almost feels like an early taste of the power of focused thought.
Like the incident with his sister Uma's boil.
Exactly. He focused intensely, said some words, and it seemed to get worse.
And his mother's warning, don't use words to harm.
That stuck with him. A core yogic idea, isn't it? The power behind intention, behind words.
Absolutely. And the responsibility that comes with any kind of inner power. It's not just about having abilities.
It's about using them consciously, compassionately.
Realizing even, seemingly harmless phrases spoken with focus can have real effects. That's relevant for all of us, how we think and speak.
Definitely. And his spiritual seeking, it really ramped up when they moved to Lahore.
That's when he set up the home shrine.
Yeah, to the Divine Mother, Goddess Kali. Shows that early, deep devotion.
It's interesting that early focus on a specific form, considering his later, more universal teachings.
Maybe a natural progression from a personal deity towards something more encompassing.
Perhaps. It shows how faith can evolve on the path.
And it wasn't always easy, this seeking, even within the family.
Right, there was resistance sometimes to his wanting a guru.
Remember his father ridiculing Avinash for wanting to visit his guru?
Yeah, that highlights the tension, doesn't it?
Right.
Between worldly expectations and that deep inner calling.
It takes courage to follow that inner compass when others don't get it.
It really does. Which brings us squarely to the importance of the guru.
Swami Pranabananda's description is just, wow.
Calling Lahiri Mahasaya divinity itself in the form of flesh.
That's intense. It elevates the guru beyond just a teacher.
To an embodiment of the divine. Pranabananda himself said he meditated for years, intensely.
But didn't reach that final union?
Not until Lahiri Mahasaya's grace intervened. It highlights that the guru's grace, that transmission, is vital. It's more than just effort or instruction.
And Master Mahasaya, another figure who could apparently answer Yogananda's thoughts before he even spoke them.
That telepathic ability, yeah. It hints at this deeper level of connected consciousness.
And his emphasis on the sweetness of the divine name from all lips, whether wise or, ignorant.
It makes the divine feel so accessible, right? Not locked away for only certain people. It's everywhere, in everyone.
And then the big one, meeting Sri Yukteswar in Benares.
That destined meeting.
Sri Yukteswar just knew him instantly
Yeah.
and told him flat out, your real goal is wisdom and God contact.
Not the usual worldly stuff, possessions and whatnot.
That really set the direction for his whole life, didn't it?
Right. Completely. It's a powerful reorientation. What really matters isn't out there, it's in here. It makes you ask, what am I really pursuing?
Good question. And Sri Yukteswar's teaching on pure love, without condition, without boundary, without change.
So simple, yet so profound. And incredibly hard.
And his humility, asking Yogananda to help him if he ever strayed from God realization.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it? Even for highly realized souls, it's an ongoing journey. It requires constant awareness, surrender. True authority comes from that humility.
So, okay, bringing this back to us, living today. How do we live yogically?
Well, Lahiri Mahasaya's point is crucial here.
About householders.
Exactly. He specifically told Yogananda not to renounce the world in the traditional sense.
He said you could reach the highest states even while living a normal life,
Right?
fulfilling your duties.
Yes, as long as it's done faithfully, without personal motive or attachment, it's about inner renunciation.
Not necessarily outer. That's a huge relief for most people, I think.
It really is. It validates the spiritual path within ordinary life.
And it connects to that other story, the yogi telling him to find his cave, his sacred mountain.
Not in the Himalayas, but
Within himself. In a room, close the door, be alone.
it internalizes the whole quest. Makes it accessible wherever you are, your sacred space is inside you. Where's your inner cave?
That's the real question. And this inner focus is key when understanding Maya and avidya.
Illusion and ignorance, basically.
These ideas that nature itself has these dualistic delusions that hide the one reality, the one God.
Right. And Yogananda says true monotheism isn't just believing in one God intellectually.
It's realizing it, piercing that veil of Maya through yoga.
That's how you can live in this world, which seems so real.
But recognize its transient nature, like all the constant distractions today, the digital noise, the endless chase. That's a kind of modern Maya, maybe.
That's a great way to put it. Seeing through that digital veil to find inner peace. It's about discerning illusion from reality.
And that leads to the idea of a true Swami.
It's not just the title or the robes.
No, it's someone who actually achieves union with the self-swa,
Living in the world, but not of it.
imbuing everything, waking, sleeping with I am he, that unity with spirit.
And he makes the point, not everyone with the title actually reaches that state.
Right. It's about the inner realization, the lived experience.
Authenticity over appearance.
And Yogananda quotes Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita here too, doesn't he?
Yes, about the power of ceaseless meditation.
To overcome even the worst karma and find lasting peace.
Exactly. It offers real hope, a practical way to navigate life's challenges using inner focus. You have the power to change your inner world.
Okay, so practically speaking, how do we do this? What are the daily rituals?
Well, Sri Yukteswar put huge emphasis on Kriya Yoga.
Called it the most effective device for salvation through self-effort.
Pretty direct.
Mm-hmm.
And he stressed its effectiveness, its efficiency, even if the guru isn't physically present.
Which is important for people practicing now.
Absolutely. He saw it as the direct path, like a spiritual superhighway to realization, the core practice.
But it wasn't just Kriya, was it? Sri Yukteswar also talked about simpler things.
Oh yeah. Simple living, calmness, determination, diet, exercise.
Things he talked about publicly. These everyday things are part of the foundation.
Totally interconnected. Physical, mental, spiritual, they all support each other.
So simple living today. What does that even look like? Decluttering, less screen time.
Could be. Anything that reduces external noise and makes space for that inner work creates a stable inner environment.
And then meditation itself, the core of it all.
Yogananda described it beautifully. Quieting the mind chatter.
Releasing that belief that we're just this physical body.
Yeah, letting the soul rise above the senses. He used that image of breath and mind being like storms.
The ocean of inner light.
Exactly. By calming those storms through meditation, you access what's underneath, that deeper reality.
It sounds like accessing a wider reality beyond just the physical senses.
Perceiving energy, connection. The Sleepless Saint story hints at the extreme potential, right? Where the body's needs change.
And through this practice, we regain that lost paradise.
Within ourselves. instead of chasing it outside.
Shifting the search inward to that eternal bliss that's already there.
It's a powerful motivation to practice consistently. The real treasure is inside.
And he even talks about superconsciousness, where organs feel electrified by cosmic energy.
Yeah, maybe even going beyond the need for sleep, like that saint.
It just points to this huge, untapped potential within us.
Things awakened through these practices, pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible.
Okay, so as we wrap up, how does this inner work connect to, like, the world, elevating the world?
Yogananda lived it, founding schools like the one in Ranchi.
Aiming for well-rounded education academics plus moral and spiritual values.
Right. Swami Pranabanana even blessed it for carrying on Lahiri Mahasaya's ideals for young people. It's about translating ideals into action for society.
And then Babaji's instruction.
To take Kriya Yoga to the West.
That implies sharing these teachings as part of creating awakened souls, right? Not keeping it secret.
Absolutely. Babaji apparently foresaw Yogananda's role way back at a Kumbhela meeting with Sri Yukteswar.
Wow. So there was this larger plan, this mission to awaken people globally.
Underscoring the universality of the teachings. They're for everyone.
And the book makes that point clearly. True utopia, a better world.
Starts inside, in the private bosom of each person.
Inner reform comes first, then civic virtue, societal change.
It's a fundamental principle. Individual awakening is the root of collective transformation. Personal change impacts everything.
It reminds me of Luther Burbank's observations, Yogananda included.
About love, nature, intelligent guidance being key for humanity's fulfillment.
It's holistic, inner growth, connection with each other, connection with the earth.
Exactly. Harmonizing all aspects of our lives. That's living yogically.
So, bringing it all together, Yogananda's message, his lineage, it's not about escape.
No, it's an invitation.
To consciously bring a yogic approach to our everyday lives.
Infusing work, relationships, quiet moments.
With presence, love, connection to our inner truth.
And the path to becoming that awakened soul is through that consistent inner work, integrating these principles daily.
Moving beyond just being a follower.
To actually becoming an awakened soul yourself, embodying that divine potential.
Radiating it outwards through how we live.
Through our actions, intentions, our connection to source.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this.
Yeah.
How can you incorporate just one simple daily ritual inspired by all this to nurture more clarity, more compassion, more purpose in your own life?
And how might doing that, just that one thing?
Yeah, how might that contribute in your own way to elevating the world around you?
Something to really reflect on.
Definitely. We encourage everyone to, revisit the sources, Yogananda's teachings, and see how they light up your own path.